Hey, what's up, card fighters? So I'm back here with another match video that we are doing with our stealth DOTE. This is round two, and we are facing a more meta deck than Sojo Doji. We're facing YOUTHBERK, or the way I like to call it is because this player's build is modeled after my build, the Revaldad build of Youth, to whereas you're basically using your Decisive Axe Dragon to as like a secondary win condition to the pressure you already mount as you are playing YOUTHBERK. I do believe I win the die roll here, if I'm not mistaken. I couldn't see that. I think we got the same, so we have to roll again. I got a 10, and I don't think he got a 10. Yeah, he got like a 6 or something. So I do get to go first here. Generally, when playing this deck, if I do open up with stealth units that are not Forktail, or if I open up with units that don't get me to DOTE, like if I don't open up a Burning Horn, I'm generally just gonna send those cards back. Sometimes I'll probably keep the Forktail because Forktail like deck thins and it technically helps me get to DOTE faster if I don't already open up with DOTE. But that was our theory there, and that's why we sent 5 cards back in hand. And as you can see, we did open up with 1 DOTE. I believe I discard, yeah, I discard the Shank in here. It's really not useful until my opponent's already at 3, so if I do see it early, I do just tend to pitch it away as Ride. He's going to swing here. I do elect to take it because we do need at least 1 counterblast. We damage our 5th copy of DOTE. Or no, not DOTE. We damage our 1 copy of Overlord that we are running in the main deck. We are searching the Forktail here, just again, to get that extra deck thin on turn 2. We really don't care about the soul, like this build was just built for the deck thinning. I'll call it right away. And I do believe I whiff here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I don't. Okay, I get it. There was a game where I basically just whiffed and I didn't get one, which can happen. You are running 12 names, which does give you a high chance of seeing one. But, it can happen. It can happen in any deck. He damages two. He damages 2 Tempests here, which we're commenting why do you hate Tempest so much? I'm like, hey man, no one told you to take damage. So he's gonna top 3 search here, off the Ride line. He elects not to call anything. I'm guessing it was either Decisive Axe Dragon plus triggers or triggers plus PG. So he elected to not call anything off the Ride line. He does get a Gust off of his top 5 search with Schnitzel. So he is going to add that to hand, and that is going to refresh his deck with a shuffle on those cards that he did send to the bottom of the deck. He's going to swing for 10 here. We do elect to take it in case he does try to damage deny us. We get a defensive, and he decides to kill our Forktail, which we are completely fine with that. We pitch a Madoka here. Like I said in the earlier video, generally if I have a trigger plus a Madoka in hand and it's the early game, I'll discard the Madoka because it really won't become valuable until later on in the game. I do believe we don't have much here in terms of rear guard, so I just swing 18 at the Vanguard, I believe. I was just trying to see if I could pressure him to guard. Or seeing if he does guard it, just try and damage deny him. We get a Madoka and a Chalice. He does get a heal here, which he heals off his Tempest, which is really good for him because now he can add that back. And then we're going to swing at the rear guard. I don't get anything, and then we're going to swing 28 at the Vanguard. Which he does elect to take it. He gets a critical trigger. He pitches Gust for Ride, which I'm guessing he already had. He already had a Tempest in hand, I'm guessing, because he chose not to get Tempest, or maybe he's just trying to go for a Gust play. He chose to get Schnitzel, actually, which was interesting. Which he gets a Tempest off here, so he is able to go into Tempest if he so chooses. But honestly, if it was me, I probably would have just grabbed the Tempest because that's already 2 Tempest out of the deck, which generally you're most often than not going into Tempest over going into Gust. You really only go into Gust when you feel like you're gonna hit triggers, at least in my personal opinion. So he didn't get anything off the search, but he did get to refresh his deck. And he is swinging for 13 here. Which we do decide... What are we thinking here? We do decide to take it, actually. Which he does get 2 critical triggers. So we do go to 5 here. We did get 1 defensive, but that's alright. And then he elects to Gust here instead of Tempest, which I think because he put us to 5, that's the whole reason why he elected to Tempest instead of, to Gust instead of Tempest. I guess he was just trying to go for a kill here. So I believe that's enough for a no pass, or like an OT to pass. And then he swings with him, and then I just PG it, throwing away the Chalice. We drew our overtrigger for turn, I believe. I ride DOTE, give the 5k to DOTE, give the 5k to Nahalem. And we do our top 7 search for a stealth. I do believe we whiff here. Oh no, we get it. Never mind. Must be the second game that we whiff. So we are playing a little bit from behind here because of that double crit. So we do have to be playing like more defensive / careful. He decided to perfect guard it. And I didn't have a Halb in hand, so I had to pitch 2, which kind of sucks to be honest, but it is what it is. We get a heal trigger here, which is very clutch. We give the power to our rear guard that really can't hit anything, so she can hit something. And then we swing 18 at the Vanguard. And I told him the other column's 23. He takes it, gets defensive, and then I just swing at the Schneisel because this is what I was talking about, whereas essentially you're forcing an intercept out of your opponent, or you're forcing the same amount of shield as if they didn't get a defensive, because they could have just intercepted and that would have guarded the Vanguard swing. So I chose to go for the interceptor because if he wanted to keep it, he would have to expend more shield than he normally would have. Our hand was decent for defense this turn. It wasn't like the best, but I felt like if I could just guard, essentially I just had to guard 3 attacks and take 1, which isn't impossible here, but I do believe I have to bank on getting a defensive. He chooses to swing without boost again here, which I believe I do attempt to pass. Yeah, I attempt to pass, but he does check the OT here, which breaks my 2 to pass. That heal doesn't go off because he is at 5, and because he get the overtrigger, and because everything does have a drive check now, I really didn't need him to check the OT there, because now I have to guard everything, which is impossible, especially since everything has a drive check. But I still guard this attack because my thought process was that I want to at least guard this one and then take a hit without a critical, because he does check a critical here, which he gives the power there. And then he swings at the unit without a critical, I take it, and then I don't get a defensive. But that was my thought process in theory there. Even if we did survive that turn, because he got so much card advantage off of the overtrigger, we probably wouldn't have won. We probably wouldn't have won next turn. But he didn't go into Tempest once that game because he double critted me in the early, and he was just mounting the pressure, which did eventually win him the game. Also, ban OTs. So I want to speed through the second match a little bit faster because the match was a little bit long, or not too long, but it was more of he was playing vanilla Vanguard because he did one misplay that did cost him the game. I'll point it out when we see it. I draw into the OT again. I'll point it out when the misplay happens, but he did do one misplay that basically made it so where he really couldn't YOUTHBERK for the rest of the game. So we're going first again because we lost. We're pitching the Shenkin. He rides, draws, swings. I have to take it. Pitch the Modoka here. I confused Madoka for Forktail, but we are grabbing the Forktail here because we do want the deck thin, which I believe we whiff here, if I'm not mistaken. We whiff somewhere. I swear to you, we whiff somewhere, but we haven't whiffed yet, which is really good because we do get that extra deck thin on turn 2. Pitches the trigger here. He opts to call nothing off ride line, so I'm assuming it's again grade 3 he can't call and triggers. He does get a heal here, which is very clutch for him. And a Soul Blast for Nahalem. We're going to call out the Burning Horn. I believe it was in the Burning Horn, but we really just called out the Burning Horn as an extra attacker since he is on 2, and Burning Horn can hit over a trigger if this does hit, which he lets it hit. So we only need to pitch 1, and then restands. We're swinging for 18. He does use the effect heal here to effectively just no-pass it, which is fine. We swing for 23 here, which he guards, and then we're swinging for 33, I believe, which he opts to take it. He damages another Tempest. Now, I believe this is where he misplays here, where I think he just doesn't, he chooses not to use his ride line at all. Yeah, he chooses not to use his ride line at all to get himself a Will+Dress from the drop. And now he's left without a Will+Dress in hand, and he even commented on this, like, damn, like, I literally, like, forgot to use my ride line. So now he's just hoping to drive check one, which I don't believe he drive checks one on this turn, but he swings for 23 at the Vanguard, and I opt to take it. And I damage a DOTE. He's going to swing 10 at my rear guard. I block it. He's going to swing 10 at the other rear guard. I just choose to block it again. We ride DOTE. I'm going to Soul Blast. Give a 5 to DOTE. Give a 5 to Nahalem. I'm going to use Forktail here, which I do believe this is the one where we whiff. So we did whiff one. I was right. There was a whiff here. But we're swinging here for 31. Now, the reason that I'm boosting here is because I do have a full back row. And the reason that I'm boosting is if I do draft check a Halb, I want to put the Halb behind my Vanguard so it could boost in the same turn. He perfect guards this. Get another crit. Put it there. Swing with the crit first. I believe this is 38. He guards with his over trigger, and then this is just 23. And we pass turn. He Persona rides because he has Persona ride for days. He top checks. He gets a Schnitzel. He's going to use Schnitzel here. He gets another Persona ride, but still no Will+Dress to be seen, so he's still just playing vanilla Vanguard. He searches hard for that Will+Dress, and like I said, that one, it's hard to say if him getting that one Will+Dress would have guaranteed him another Will+Dress, but it's very interesting for the fact that he didn't get the Will+Dress like 2 turns in a row. Like, even if he got the Will+Dress, like, if he wasn't guaranteed another one, myself, I probably would have saved it. And I think I just choose to, no, I don't, actually. I guard this one. Because he is already at 5, so there's no reason for us to go to 5 here. I'm debating on using either Chalice or the DOTE I have in hand. I opt for the Chalice just because the DOTE is a unit that I could call in the future if I do need it. And then we're swinging with the boost again in case we do draft check a Halb. We draft check a PG, a front trigger I believe, and then he dies there. So that's the reason why I just kind of wanted to speed through this game too a little bit, because of that one misplay, it kind of just cost him the game to where it's like he really couldn't play. Like, granted, he only had access to one Will+Dress at the time, but like maybe that would have changed the composition of his deck to whereas, you know, he would have reached a second Will+Dress. But you know, we'll never know. He does elect to go first here. This is interesting. We're throwing back all the stealth units because obviously we want to soul charge them. No regrets because we get a PG and a DOTE. Going second is actually very ideal for this deck because we do get to commit the Forktail and we do get to attack twice on the first turn. We ditched the extra copy of Burning Horn here, just valuing the top 7 off of our Forktail here. Yeah, I think he was commenting on how like I've had that every turn 1. And then we're just swinging 8. We get a crit here. We give crit and power, and then this still hits. It's 18 to 18. He decides to guard. He pitches a 15 for ride. He does have a target here. So he isn't whiffing for like the 3rd game in a row. He adds a gust to hand. He's going Schnitzel to try and add another Revol unit. He adds Tempest, so now he does have the option of going into Tempest for his first grade 3 ride, and then Gust for his second grade 3 ride. He swings 10 at my Vanguard. I choose to take it in case he damage denies me. Get a defensive, and he swings at the Forktail once again. We ditch Halb here because I believe I had a second Halb and it was just clogging my hand. I think a little bit on what I want here, and we just auto add the stealth unit here just because we do want that extra deck thin. And I just put it behind the Vanguard because I'm probably just going to swing into the rear here. Yep, we get our stealth unit. I believe that was a Madoka, if I wasn't mistaken. Cuts my deck again. And then we're swinging 18 at rear. Yeah, just to limit the amount of things he can do here. He discards Gust. And he just swings 13 at my Vanguard. I choose the 2 to pass this, which he does break the 2 to pass here. He rides Tempest, gets 2 triggers, and then I just guard Tempest with 15 because it has no drive checks. We pitch another Burning Horn here, just because the other cards in our hand were more valuable at the time, because we had another Burning Horn. We didn't get any, which is to be expected. I do believe I have like 2 Dotes in the damage, or like a Dote and an Overlord. We swing for 26 here. He actually lets it hit. We get another Dote. He doesn't heal, but he does get the +5. And we call Halb here just to make the column hit. Swing for 18 to his 23. He chooses to guard here. We get a Forktail. We swing. The other column obviously can't hit. Passes turn. He doesn't Persona Ride. He ditches a 15 for his Will+Dress ability. Puts a PG. Just, I guess he really needed the booster. Top 5. He's thinking on what to add. He adds Persona Ride, which I believe my hand was quite healthy to survive this turn, especially since he didn't Persona Ride. And he just swings again. He doesn't have the chick that gives her boost. I give him the 2 to pass again because I didn't figure he'd break it the second time around. And he goes into Gust here, I guess for the extra drive check. He swings 23. I opt to take it. And then that column is like 1631, I believe, which is just a 20k shield. Which he attacks the Burning Horn, which I just let go because I have a replacement in hand. Get another stealth unit, add it to soul. And then we call the Shank in here. Not the best replacement for Burning Horn, but you know, it still makes a 23k column. We swing again with boost, because again, if we check a Halb, we want to put it behind the Vanguard so he can have that boost again. So this is 31. He decides to give us the 2 to pass. We give all effects to Vanguard, of course, because our Vanguard restanding. And then we swing for 33 with a crit, and he opts to PG. We get a crit, put it on the Hollow, and then we get a front. So I believe I attack with the Shanken first, 33. which he does opt to guard this, and then I swing for like 43 to crit, which he takes the crit. He Persona rides, ditches a Tempest, calls out a 10k booster. I think I was just counting his triggers at this point. He finally has... Oh no, I was counting to see how many of the booster he's seen, because that was the first time he's called it. So he calls out the booster, and then he calls out Decisive Axe Dragon, which I can only guard with zeros and Blitz Orders for Decisive Axe. So I opt to perfect guard his Vanguard. He goes into Gust again, which I believe the reason he did Gust over Tempest was he felt like this was his last turn, and he would just rather the extra trigger checks. I was thinking how I guard his Vanguard, and I opt to just take it. Because my theory was, like, I die to a critical anyway if he puts it on Decisive Axe. And then I do have to guard this weird because the Decisive Axe does have the restriction, but I was able to guard it with 25k guard. You Soul Blast, give the +5 in the Hallam, +5 in my Vanguard. Swing 23. Heal trigger, we do heal. We're going to give the power to Nahalem. Actually, we're going to give the power to Vanguard. And he doesn't check a trigger. He had 2 grade 3s and a 5k in hand, so you really couldn't effectively guard that. So, that is today's match video. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Any, like, improvements or suggestions are well received. Constructive criticism, well received here on this channel. And don't forget, we are selling that sexy mat that we do have in the video right now. So if you do want a copy of that mat, we are selling them for 25 a piece. And see if we can get a better picture of the mat. We are selling this mat for like $25 a piece, plus shipping and handling. You can message me on Facebook Messenger, or you can reach me through my channel email. All the details are in the description down below, so please take a quick look at that. And we also have a raffle going on, a giveaway. If you want to know the rules of the giveaway, please check out our Chaos deck profile. At the end of the giveaway, we explain the rules of the giveaway, and I will be announcing a winner of the giveaway on Sunday. I'm going to use one of those random generators, and I'm going to ship the lucky winner a copy of this mat for free. So, yeah.